Well, let me invite you into my studio. Oh yes, fingers of an artist. Ah, someone's at the studio door. Hey.
Thanks to viewer support, we continue the rare snow white kangaroo parrot of Central Australia appeal, and live in the studio.
Hey, Cracked, come on in.
Now, the star
What brings you here today? Hang on, well, radio's too loud. Let me unturn it off.
A play date with art. It has been deemed works where it matters to release important chemicals from our brain, especially when drawing and painting with mum, or just joking with dad, joining in and having fun. Our play and banter helps carers maintain social bonds. Doctors in long white coats have proven playing in all art colors helps relieve cancer treatment from anxiety and worry, especially when I hear the nurse say, "The doctors are ready, no need to hurry." We are happier with the gift of a pocket heart teddy bear with art tools to play. Thanks Project Ward B9. Thanks for your pocket bear art. We laughed and played in hospital today.
Cracked. Anyway, what brings you by today, buddy? Well, I wanted to talk about a new project I'm working on, Project Ward B9. What's Ward B9? It sounds like a play with words. Ward B9 is my way of sharing creativity with sick children. Thank you. A wonderful idea. Tell me about the project name, Ward B9. Look, the name Ward B9, it's a word marriage between a hospital ward and a patient being told that their cancer is benign, Ward B9. That's clever. Surely it is already out there, though, on the metaverse. Look, you'd think so, but it wasn't. But since researching a crowded space with tentative project names, I did settle on Ward B9. I've now registered the web addresses and started the social media accounts associated with it with the hashtag Ward B9. And I've started to legally protect the brand by applying for a trademark, paying the money. That all sounds like a plan to me. Do you need gallery space for a show? What do you need from me? Look, good question. I've made contact with Peter Mac Cancer Hospital in the CBD. Anna, one of the head paediatric nurses, was most grateful and had a series of phlogistic questions for me. Right now, as my art is being gifted to the children, kids under 16 being treated for life-ending cancers, I'd just like to pick your brain a bit, if you have time. Sure, I have, 15 minutes right now? That should be fine. Will we jump right in? Look, that'd be awesome. Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, appreciate it. Right, well, firstly, they are going to want to know about you. You will need a bio, short resume, some words regarding Project Ward B9, a great name, by the way. It is a great name, easily marketable. I know you. If okay, I'll take some notes for you to use. Cracked, they're going to want to know about your past. Shall we start there? Why not? That'd be great, thank you. Like an art label. What is your name, date of birth, and... Glenn, I was born in 1967 in Sydney on the Northern Beaches. So I'm nearly 57, 56. How did you become an artist? Come inside. From an early age, and I'm truly talking primary school. I spent my pocket money at the local haberdashery buying macrame wool, beads and hoops.
You're tuned in to 101.4 The Rush.
Owls, and gifting them to everybody. I bought macrame books and practice on the patterns, and every time we went to major shopping centres, I looked in the haberdashery. Then I started sketching military aeroplanes and tanks. I made model planes and painted them. I drew and painted clouds, and then they were behind water, behind other sketches. And also as I got older, I learned about the darkroom and processing film and printing my images onto photographic paper. I love that medium. In 1984, I was offered a job working under arts and ad industry icon Ray Layton, learning just craft from one master to an apprentice. In 1985, I won a place for 3 of my artworks to feature at the Art Gallery of New South Wales. It was part of the Festival of Sydney, and then afterwards to tour major regional galleries. Then in 1987, I was asked if I would be the creative assistant to touring artists. I started my first company, Out on a Limb Productions, after Shirley MacLaine's book, and that's how I got started. Cracked. What is your motivation behind your art, especially this one? Well, I guess originally just to be a great studio artist, to make enough money to live a life around the ocean, and secretly, I guess, wanting to be the best, striving to be the best. Then as I got older, I made and lost some money, and I try to hold on to my modest start now whilst reminding creative people to learn craft by getting their hands dirty. What do you want out of Project Ward B9? Glenn, to unconditionally give my love of our craft to hands that I see glued to $2 apps and billionaires' AI art programs. Hashtag AI is not art. Cracked. Art on all levels. Fine arts that we practice here, or low arts, adding colour to rental homes. It costs money. How is Ward B9 being funded if you are giving it away? Look, you're right. I just spent $239.40 on chipboard used in the project. I have put another together a GoFundMe campaign, and other than a $50 thankful contribution, I'm self-funding at the moment. Surely that's not sustainable. Look, longer term it isn't. At some point, for my unicorn to have wings, I'll need additional funding. That's why I'm here. Not for funding, to pick your brain, sure, but to ask for a wall space to sell more of my original art. Cracked. This gallery is yours. I know. You are talking to yourself, remember? So how much space do you need me to find as the curator? Look, other than my Ward B9 pocket bears, I have other work I have completed that you haven't seen yet, and it's all recent this year, or near enough. So here, let me show you. Here, have a look at this link. Cracked. Awesome body of work, I see. Thank you. You have the art labels and artist statements for the pieces too. I do, yeah. Well, let's arrange delivery to the studio. May I add them to your virtual portfolio and gallery library as well? Great. Thanks. And then here's the link to my portfolio as well, my digital portfolio. We were talking about Ward B9. Supporters of your work are going to want to know, what's in it for you? What's in it for me? Look, Glenn, I'm asking, and asking may be too strong. I'm letting the parents and caregivers and the kids being treated, that if they need to get it, to consider a social media post using hashtag WardB9, maybe with a photo of them opening and enjoying with some nice words. They can also customise the bear with names across here. They can use their own names, and I have designs where they can use their hands and feet with teddy bears. So people liking the idea can buy one even and send another to a friend. I've got a program to do that. There is merch as well, Ward B9, sweats, tees, sleepwear for the hospital or at home. If I was being treated as a young person under 16 for cancers, what does the gift of smiles and active hands look like to me? Look, you're right. And I should have mentioned earlier, let me get some of the original Project Bear, Pocket Bear, Teddy Bear samples out for you, and I'll show you. So here, look, young people today will receive one age-specific original teddy bear. So I've done a few designs. Teddy bear, it's in acrylic and spray can artwork. The art is small for me, 225 by 300. It's on wooden board. I've researched and designed that as it needs to be durable, lots of colours. As patients, it needs to be durable because patients are moved around the hospital, and my art will be hanging or standing beside, adding colour to bedsides, adding colour and design to hospital wards, and to be taken home and shown in the bedroom or living room afterwards. Quietly, I guess location will depend on what happens at the hospital. That's my installation. The pocket bear, so named because when I was playing with the idea of gifting creativity to spark active imaginations, I noticed I had inadvertently created this tiny hip pocket on the now named Cancer Bear number 1, an early version, which is an early version of the pocket bear. Now these artist proofs, as the Cancer Bears were, have become finished, albeit maybe a little bit less involved than my pocket bear designs. But the pocket bears hold in the pocket a heart, and that one heart for when is needed. So that's the pocket bear heart bears. It's a memory trigger, so that they know they're not alone. It's that gift of unconditional love to children that shouldn't be in hospitals, kids that should be outdoors running and jumping and getting wet and going inside to eat, sleep, relate and create art. A great idea. Thank you. It's getting whiffy in here, Hova. What's in it for you? Okay. Look, unconditionally, I suspect I'll get media coverage. So my art is in the faces of sports people, politicians, movie stars, and organisations even like Camp Quality. So all with a media and press trail showcasing in the backgrounds or at the fore my artworks and Project Ward B9 around Australia and perhaps further abroad. So the possibility is as endless as the imagination, and I am conscientious to the sensitivities of my audience. So, yep, it'll be a different type of installation, but cracked, one with legacy. Different is good. Thank you. Look, Glenn, if I can expand my customer base, achieve a sales funnel for my commissioned and uncommissioned artwork, and achieve perhaps some extra funding down the track through sites like GoFundMe, then perfect. I can engage other artists and we can go right around Australia. However, the gift of creativity, it's without reward. The reward is in seeing the kids be creative by doing art. That's why I have free downloadable colouring projects, and competitions. I can run and going to run competitions, inviting maybe I can help young people to participate, and hopefully I can have space here in the gallery, in the Crakked Art Asylum Gallery, to showcase these young artists. Why not? It would be a great way to generate eyes and foot traffic here too, Glenn. Cracked. It certainly would be. How many designs have you done? 10 or 11. Look, I've done 10 or 11 designs so far, maybe a couple more, and I'm rolling out 6 or 7 artworks, because I do then 6 of each design. I was doing 5 with a spare, and that's the 6. But the spare is equally as good or better in some instances, so it doesn't deserve to be called an artist proof. So there you go. Is that what you were showing me here? Are these the digital fine artworks behind the pocket bears? Yep. Labelled simply as Pocket Bear 1, Pocket Bear 2, to keep the design and printing stage easy. That way I can do a revision and label this as, PV1, Issue A, Revision 1, and so on. Yep. I also have each pocket bear individually numbered to authenticate. So Pocket Bear 1 initially is numbered from 1, 2, 3 to 6. And then the next 6, which is Pocket Bear 2, numbered 7 to 12, and so on. And you have done over 50 in the space of a few months? Well, you're a bloody dog. Well, more considering my earlier Cancer Bears. Yeah. Pocket Bear just sounds so much nicer than Cancer Bear. Glenn, did you know that I can even get my designs made into real teddy bears? Yeah. I have a plan for the future to future-proof Ward B9. Clever. Cracked. Another cracking idea, playing on words. Tell me exactly how many pocket bears have you completed? Look, I've completed around 60. I'm halfway to my initial target of 120 because there's 113 beds or so with young people. I have enough wooden supports and art stock and material for up to maybe 150 because the company I bought the wood supports, the boards from, threw in another 40 when they read about the project. They thought it was a great idea, and I'm very grateful. Cracked. I guess then it does make sense to copyright and trademark your creative wares. Do you have inspiration for your pocket bears? For my pocket bears? Truthfully, not directly. Look, I've researched teddy bears, teddy bear shapes and designs throughout time. I've looked at real grizzly bears and panda bears, and even at the Paddington bear, I've looked at the designs. Look, I've checked out real bears to understand their paws and footprints and their body shape and things like that. And all for reference. You know, it helped when designing, for instance, the pocket bear riding on a skateboard, which is down a long mountainside. So here's some, I'll have the other portfolio down this long mountainside. I included the bear prints with the design on the feet. And also I should say that my idea of bringing craft, and by craft I mean learning technique, not handicrafts, that my idea of bringing craft to young minds, look, they're not influenced by any, certainly, and it isn't, I know it's not unique, but my fave pop artist, Roy Lichtenstein, he had an art for kids program I've just discovered. Banksy, written as saying he's using animals for art subjects as that's what people are buying, so why not teddy bears? You know, my own research too has shown that people will spend money on the cute and cuddly, but not necessarily themselves. So before committing to pocket bears and Project Ward B9, I did test market other ideas. Look, I'll show you. You know, there's Pets in Albania, which is based on what I was saying earlier about, you know, designs with their people's pets, because people are buying pet portraits rather than people portraits. Carrie Lewis, an educator and artist in the States, has written a wonderful article about just that I've read recently, and I'll throw the link in. And I looked at creating art for the lesbian, gay, bisexual market. I've spent considerable time researching Ward B9. Then once I decided, I spent a day just researching for that Ward B9 project name for branding, and again, to future-proof. I wanted something that if the hashtag was there, it went back to me, or the project. You mentioned about transferring craft knowledge. Transferring knowledge. Yeah, I did. Books like The Death of the Artist, how creators are struggling to survive in the age of billionaires and big tech, by William Deresiewicz. Look, it's a great read. I see it in art classrooms too, you know, young people with no training to learn craft saying, I am a photographer, I'm a wedding photographer, for instance. And I'm being critical, but with apps, people don't need to learn how to process film or correct a problem in camera. You can be less than an average... look, you can take an average photograph, poorly framed photograph, you can add colour, you can take away flare, you can drop in a rainbow, then remove red eye and send it away. You know, this isn't craft, it's software knowledge, it's graphic design, it's a skill, true, but not art. You know, AI mentioned in the Deresiewicz book is the next progression, and many artists are speaking out about the loss of craft, the death of craft that they see. So Project Ward B9, on side tables in hospital wards, catching the eye of politicians and press, I believe will put me on a stage where I can start not only talking about these young people afflicted with dreadful illness. I can talk about, the key behind much of what I say, which is about that transfer of craft and how craft is dying, and we cannot let this knowledge die. Hospital wards will have an eye count above that of the gallery showcase, and then it can be my work can be taken home for secondary showings and sales of bears to siblings, and I want one too, mummy, that sort of stuff. Is that experience the seminal experience you have had regarding this project? It surely is. Along with going through the cancer process myself at Peter Mac not too long ago, and my 28-year-old daughter was diagnosed and rushed into hospital within days to have a brain tumour removed the start of this term. And I've had a couple of daughters that were molested. Their mum and I found out not long ago by their next door neighbour for many years. So children will grow into craft masters. And when I was younger, I had a family friend who was an artist that I could bounce off. So if there is a pathway that can be fostered, then there is hope for the future of original art and skilled fine artists that know craft and technique. I'm 56 next week and I'm on a disability pension. I have no plan to enter the workforce as a result of paralysis down my left arm and some other things. What I can do is motivate people to enjoy creating art for the love of art, of getting their hands dirty. My fingers are pretty clean at the moment in the process. Well, why an artwork rather than a teddy bear in a box, for instance? Artwork rather than a teddy bear. Well, what's that saying? Teach a person to fish and they'll never go hungry. I'm teaching people to fish, which is craft art. What else have you done then, Crack, that might contribute to Project Ward Benign? If people are going to invest by giving you, access to hospital to showcase art in hospitals and things, and even invest money, they're going to ask. They will want to know if you are worth investing in. Look, you're right. You are right. I will attach my resume with my portfolio link here. Here is the link, so that can help. Look, I've been an artist since 1985. My first client, one by myself, was Avon, doing product and fashion photography. From there, I won Freedom Furniture, then Angus and Coot, and eventually won my first awards for work with Canon. That was in the 90s. So more importantly, early 90s, 91 I think. More importantly, I've had my own business since 1985. I've had upwards of 33 people on my payroll at any one time, and I've had some failures too. I produced, for instance, a neighbourhood coupon book that just sapped my creative juices every month. The rewards were just not worth my efforts. In my past, I have been an idea maker and also an idea maintainer. I am a certified business auditor, which accompanied my title as a creative consultant for many years. It assisted me to show business owners and stakeholders and creative teams how to manage the process of taking an idea off the ground, how stakeholders can manage staff and things like that, how to get an idea to become a unicorn and a unicorn to fly. What is your artistic vision for the project then? Look, when you grow up being bullied and oppressed, art is an avenue to build self-esteem. Over and above all of that, art lets you know yourself, and I think until you know yourself, you cannot know someone else. Don't they say that? So not wholly anyway. So this project will provide an avenue for self-knowledge, and that's my artistic vision for Project Ward Benign. An artist's life, a lonely life. That's why we have Crakked Art Asylum Gallery, isn't it? So we can share it with others, right? Share what we love with others. So true. So true. Is there any artist or artists you'd prefer to be likened to? Yeah, I guess French artist or street artist Black Claret, for his originality, father of stencil art, which is great fun. Banksy has copied a lot of Black's work, for instance, and they've got a thing going on about that. Van Gogh, Cézanne for standing the test of time. Lady Gaga, her wow is absolutely bloody wonderful. But ultimately, I would hope that my work stands on its own feet. I believe this project is unique in many ways, and yet, fingers crossed, Ward Benign can become a legacy for all the right reasons.
Well, I got to get going. I have to wrap this up. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Finally, remind me, what is Ward B9?
Okay, so Ward B9 is wishing young people in hospital health and longevity. Ward B9 promotes interaction and talk with the most difficult time for not only the young people under 16 that are being treated for possible life-ending cancers, but for families and carers of these young people. So Ward B9 reminds people that they're not alone in a most difficult time. Ward B9 should things not go the way as planned, it's a reminder for the future through art and art making and sharing. So Ward B9 is colour. It's colour to talk about. It's colour as an avenue to engage by asking, what colour is this? Point out the red, darling. Colour in hospital wards and hanging from the end of beds or by the side of the table, or it's just colour in the lives of people working in, visiting, or staying in hospitals. Finally, pocket fairs are hard in the pocket for when needed most. So no one needs to be alone.
Well, Cracked, I'm sold. Where do I invest? Got to get going.